Joining me. This is episode 62 of Live Coding with me, Matt Groves. I've got some good news for you today. It's been a tense week or two, but I'm going to try to make things a little better. We're going to experiment with, hopefully this works out, we're going to experiment with giving away some prizes. We're giving away a prize to start with, to see how it goes. And so stay tuned. I'm going to go over how that works. And then what we're going to work on today is I've got a chatbot bug. This thing is just giving me fits recently, so I'm going to try to get that fixed today. Something I learned about yesterday, I want to look into some more because it kind of relates to some topics I've done in the past on live streaming, is something called Micronetes. Micronetes, that's right. So we're going to learn about Micronetes today, see if we can't get something to work there. And then I want to finish up today with a short discussion about this term cloud native. You maybe have heard this term before, maybe you haven't, but it's a term that's kind of been a head scratcher for me, and I asked about this on Twitter, and we're going to see what some of your responses were. So that's the agenda for today. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining me, and let's get on with it. All right. And so our normal set of plugs here, I want to just say up front, the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. So I know a lot of you maybe are working from home that you don't normally do lately. And so thank you for joining me. If you have any questions about what's going on, I'm making assumptions here. You know, I've been doing this for 62 episodes plus. So there's a lot of assumptions I'm making. So if you have a question, feel free to ask. It's okay. We can go over old material. It's totally fine. If you have work from home questions, what's up? It's Calvin Allen. Everybody get hype. Hype for Calvin Allen. He is here. He is working from home. Thank you for the subscription, Calvin Allen. Great to see you again. I'm glad you're here. Anyway, as I was saying, the only stupid question is one you don't ask. So if you have questions working from home, I've been working from home for about 10 years or more. I used to work with Calvin. We both work from home. But I've worked from home 3 different places, and it's 2 different types of jobs, I guess. So if you have questions working from home, I would love to talk about working from home. If it's like, what kind of chair do you use, Matt? Or if it's something trivial like that, or if it's more like, how in the world do you get anything done? Stuff like that. I would love to talk about that. I do want to say, if you're watching on YouTube, hello. Thank you for watching me on YouTube. Every episode goes to YouTube after the fact. And some comments have started to roll in. These aren't questions per se, but I do want to highlight these from this guy, Tyler Winter on YouTube. Left some comments on 3 of my videos, just leaving some nice little compliments. I'm not sure he watched the whole videos, but he watched some of them, so I definitely appreciate you watching those, Tyler, and more importantly, leaving these comments. They're not questions per se. If you had questions, I would address them here and try to answer them. But I think it's important right now. This is something about working from home, or really just being on the internet in general, is say something nice. I mean, you may like someone's content, you may hit the thumbs up button, you may subscribe to them, all those sorts of things. But just actually saying something nice in the channel, or in the chat, or in the comments, let someone know that you appreciate their work, and maybe even be more specific about, I really like this part of your video. That kind of feedback is really, really helpful. And, you know, when you're working in an office, if someone does a good job, you might just, turn your chair back around and say, hey, really good work on that thing. All right? But when you're not in an office, you can't do that. So you have to go on to Slack or send an email. You have to be more, and I hate to use this word because it was overused at one of the last places I worked, but you have to be more intentional about your communication. You have to make the communication happen. You can't just wait for it to sort of fall into your lap. So what I want to do is I want to give some special appreciation to Tyler Winter. I'm going to just plug his YouTube account here. I don't know where else I could find him. But here's his About page. He has a few videos. He has lots of subscribers. So I think it's definitely worth checking out Tyler there. I'll put his put the URL. I don't know if there's a better one, but there's the URL to his channel there. Go check out Tyler. I'm going to go ahead and hit the subscribe button to Tyler right now because I want to see what Tyler's up to. So thank you for those comments, Tyler. If you have YouTube questions, YouTube comments, leave them on this video or other videos that you're watching, and I will or questions, I'll be happy to answer them in a future episode. All right, let's get some plugs going here. We'll start with my Live Coders team. Team Live Coders here on Twitch. Right now, C# Fritz is streaming, which means probably everybody's over in his channel. But that's fine, because I think he started a little early today. He's got himself a busy week with the MVP Summit going on. But go over there and check out C# Fritz while you can. Other people, if you're looking for someone to do some live coding, check out streaming. Go to twitch.tv/livecoders. You're going to find a whole list here, 122 different people who stream at different times, different topics, different styles. So definitely check that out. Looks like C# Fritz is doing some Linux and Blazor cool stuff there. He's doing like a minimal March where he's like using a Chromebook and stuff like that. Pretty cool stuff. So definitely go check C# Fritz out sometime. End of the stream, we'll come back here and we'll find someone to raid, and that'll be cool. All right, what else? Another plug: if you're looking for people to follow, people to watch live code, GitHub/BNB/awesome developer streams. There's a list of people who are streaming. Lots and lots of people. It hasn't been updated in 2 weeks, but this is a list of people who are streaming, what they're streaming about, and the place where they're streaming. So it could be Twitch, could be Mixer, could be YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, whatever. Check it out here. So if you're interested in, for instance, I don't know, C++, you Control F, find C++. You can see, okay, yeah, these people are doing some C++. What kind of C++ are they doing, etc. So definitely check that out and subscribe to some of those people there. I alluded to this already. You can find all the videos from Twitch here for like a 30-day period or something. And they're also on YouTube. I export them to YouTube on a regular basis. You can go to bit.ly/GrowsTube. You can find all those videos there, including this one here. Eventually, it'll be on YouTube. But bit.ly/GrowsTube, go check it out. Lots of old videos there. Lots of really great content. Thanks to all you joining in, asking questions, and helping me propel some of this stuff forward. So go check that out, bit.ly/GrowsTube. Let's see, this will be the last time I plug this, but if you are a Couchbase user, if you're writing any code against Couchbase, or you have in the past, we've got this survey going on right now, which there's some prizes up for grabs, not related to the prizes that I'm talking about on the stream, but there's some prizes up for grabs there. We really only want people who have used Couchbase in the past. So if you've not done this, please don't take the survey, because we're looking for people to kind of help us with the documentation, specifically with a certain version of the SDK that's coming out. So if you're a Couchbase user, Couchbase developer, go check this out, bit.ly/docs-survey. And there are some great prizes and some other opportunities to get some guaranteed compensation. So go check that out, bit.ly/docs-survey. I'll put that in the chat here as well, just as a reminder. Okay, upcoming events. All right, so this has been a tough section of my text file here recently. SQL Saturday Cincinnati, as I mentioned in the last stream, the event itself was canceled. I don't know if they have not announced any sort of replacement event for it. It's canceled. But what I did, and what I think I'm going to keep doing as much as I can, is when this was announced, I reached out to the organizers and I said, I would still love to present this same content for you that you selected me for. I can do it here on Twitch or wherever you'd like. So what's going to happen is SQL Saturday Cincinnati. I'm going to call it that, even though it's just my session by myself. They have very kindly promoted that to the SQL Saturday Cincinnati group. This means that, of course, you don't have to be in Cincinnati to go to watch this. SQL Matter Day. Yes, it's SQL Matter Day. I love it. SQL Matter. But it's not about me, Calvin. This is really, I love the joke. I love the pun. But this is really about, we've got this great content. We can't go to events. Events are superior for this type of interaction. We can't do it. So let's do the next best thing and try to reach everybody the best we can from our homes or from wherever we are. So that's what we're going to try to do here. You see, 14 people have signed up already, which is great. It's amazing. I need you watching there right now, I need you to also show up, because this session, Demystifying NoSQL, the SQL Developer's Guide, this is a highly interactive session, highly interactive. So I'm going to need you, yes, you watching on YouTube, watching on Twitch, wherever you're watching. I need you to come to the session. This will be the same exact day and time that I originally was set to present this in Cincinnati, but I'll be doing it from my office instead. That's this Saturday, 9:45 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. And I thought that made sense to do it the exact same date and time, just in case others wanted to do the same thing with their SQL Saturday content. So definitely check it out. But if you can't make it, of course, you could watch the replay on YouTube and stuff, as I mentioned earlier. So definitely check that out. Here's the meetup address right here. Post that in the chat. And check that out. It's under the Cincy Pass meetup group, which is not exactly the same thing as SQL Saturday, but it's the same like organizers, the same type of community. So check that out. As I get more of these events sort of materialized, I will tell you about them. For instance, there's this Google developer group. They're looking for content. I don't really do anything Google specific, but I talked to this guy right here, M.R. Dowden, on Twitter, and looks like I will be presenting a JSON data modeling topic to the Google developer group on April 6th at 6 p.m. So more details about that are yet to come. I don't know if he's actually created a meetup page or whatnot for that, but I will just keep that on your calendar so you'll know I'll be talking about JSON data modeling there. PHP Tech, as far as I know, has not been officially canceled yet. I mean, it's all the way out in May, so it's still possible. But it has not been canceled yet, as far as I know. That's in Nashville, but I can't say go buy a ticket because it's just so uncertain right now. NDC Oslo, for instance, they've announced, and this is somewhat disappointing to me because this is my first NDC I've ever been accepted to. I was really looking forward to going. I'm still going to be part of the conference there. It's going to be a virtual conference. It's going to be an online conference. Again, from what I can tell, the emails they've been sending around, the announcements they've made. So that's in June. So you can see here, it's kind of a difference between May and June. So they've made their conference virtual. So I fully expect PHP Tech to either cancel, postpone, or make their conference virtual. I am not one of the organizers. I don't know for sure. I looked last night. I didn't see any messaging, any announcements coming from PHP Tech. So I don't know about that yet. All right. Now the good stuff. This is what you're here for. The prizes, right? Everyone's here for the prizes. Okay. So here's the experiment. If you look under your chat box there in Twitch, you'll notice there's a little thing called, I forget what it's called. It's called a viewer points or something. Let me bring it up here on the screen. Maybe I can show it to you. I'll show myself streaming. That'll be weird, huh? But if you look down here, this little icon down here. Here, let me get zoom it going. This little thing down here, this little purple dot thing, right here. So this is kind of like some points you earn just by hanging out in the channel, following, subscribing, doing things like that. And in my channel, I call them space bucks. Anybody can call them whatever they want to. I call them space bucks. So you can earn space bucks by just hanging out with me here in the channel and doing kind of cool stuff that you already do. Following, subscribing, maybe rating, stuff, I don't know, stuff like that. And you're going to earn points. And then you can cash in those points to do different things. And so in my channel, one of the things I just added was a custom reward. That is a entry into a raffle. So I want to give this a try. If you've got enough points, go ahead and redeem that raffle. It should appear as a message in my chat, and it'll be like a virtual raffle ticket. I'll throw it in a virtual hat. And then this time next week, assuming this goes well, it might not. If only one person enters, for instance, then I probably will have to extend the event. This is an experiment, okay? But this is the prizes. I want to give away something. Oh, look at that. So Calvin just redeemed one entry into raffle. Message is required. Message here. Very creative, Calvin. So right now, Calvin is the only one who can win. Calvin is 100% odds of winning one of these prizes. So get in here to Twitch and redeem those points. Oh, he got another one. Now he's got 2 entries. Uh-oh. Wow, he is rocking it right now. So these are the prizes I'm going to give away. So I will leave it up to the winner to pick the prize they want. So a Manning book of your choice. I'm a Manning author, so I want you to pick out a Manning book. Doesn't have to be mine. It can be any Manning book you want. Mine is like 8 years old at this point, so I can get a newer one. These are some of the prizes I've been giving away at events where I'm at the Couchbase booth. A little handheld retro game console. They're very cool. Mini drone quadcopter. If you like drones, get an excuse to get outside in your backyard and fly it around. A Raspberry Pi kit. About time for the 2nd edition, eh? Don't know. No, I'm working on Pluralsight right now, Calvin. I can't be working on a book and Pluralsight and my full-time job and be stuck in the house. It's just not going to happen. Although at some point, I think the copyright of the book reverts to me, so I could self-publish a 2nd edition, I guess, which would require a little less work. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm looking into that stuff. We can't leave our homes. Might as well. Or a Decrypto board game, which is a cool little board game where it's kind of about breaking codes and sending coded messages and trying to decode other people's messages, things like that. So these are the prizes. Nothing earth-shattering, right? But I want to give away some prizes. I want everybody to have a little fun in the next week or so and hang out with me while we're doing it. So we're going to try this, see how it works. It looks like Calvin's got 4 entries right now. Goodness. So it'd be interesting to see how those show up in my bot data. So I can just maybe query from the bot and pull one at random. So maybe we'll experiment with that. So there we go. Those are the prizes. Spread the word. Tell your friends that prizes are being given away in this Twitch room. All you got to do is show up and hang out. Okay, let's get on to it. We'll do some actual live coding. What are we like 17 minutes in? Haven't done any coding yet. Gosh. All right, so I've got a chatbot bug, which is just killing me. This chatbot was working so well and it just started to come apart, despite my unit tests. But right now it's working. It is deployed. Just to make sure, there it is. It is working, and it's not running locally. So these are all good things. We're getting there, but the user profile stuff doesn't seem to be working. Not seem to be storing. So I got to figure out why that is. So hopefully that won't take too long. We'll get on to our next topic, which is Micronetes. But let's get into it now. Do some actual coding. I got Visual Studio here opened up. Open up the chatbot. I've got over here. I've got a Couchbase Docker image running locally with Couchbase 6.5 Enterprise running locally. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run this chatbot locally, and which means we're going to have 2 chatbots connected to Twitch chat, which is fine. It's fine. Not a big deal. Oh, I got a 401 error. This is because I added the token thing in there. Okay, so that works. Beautiful. So I have to use the token while I'm trying this out. So I want to try profile Calvin A. Allen. Okay, and I'm going to, supposed to be the case when Calvin shows up in the channel for the first time in a while, there's supposed to be a little video that plays to welcome him in. And that data got wiped out recently, so I need to add that back in. And that's why I created this profile management tool, which I can tell you right now, this is one of the most amazing web designs you'll ever see. So, I mean, if you're having a hard time handling it, if it's causing you to tear up a little bit, it's totally understandable. I'm kidding, of course. This is no design, basically. All right, so what happens is I enter this information, I save it, 401 error. No. What do you say no for? Okay, so 2 things could be happening here. And this could be related to, oh gosh, this could be related to the token, which I didn't even think about. That could be one issue. So Another entry. Oh, geez, Calvin. Maybe I should crank up the points a little higher. All right, so I got this bearer token thing here. And when I hit submit, the bearer token isn't getting posted. So we're seeing one of the weaknesses of the bearer token system here. Aren't we now? It's perfect. It's more ideal for APIs, not so great for actual HTML forms. So I guess one way we could deal with this is the actual model itself. Well, we're not going to put it in the model. That'd be a bad idea. What we can do is we can put it in like temp data, bearer token equals. And how do I pull this from the bearer token? Let's see. It would just be, I don't know. Oh boy. Okay. I'll tell you what. For now, I'm going to take this off of here because I think the error is actually unrelated. I want to revisit this bearer token thing for sure. So let's just see, because I haven't actually deployed the bearer token out to the Azure website yet. Unable to connect to web server. What is going on here? Okay, that was weird. Okay, so I don't need bearer token right now, but I can go to Calvin Allen. Okay, and we'll try this again. There's the message. YouTube code. Starting time of 217 seconds. Ending time of 220 seconds. And a 6,000 millisecond timeout. Enable that. So if I preview this, you'll see what should happen. That's what should come up for Calvin. So if I hit save, okay, you see what happened there is I hit save and it didn't save. So what the heck is going on? So we're setting this update profile. So it's an update profile handler. And whatever is happening, okay. I know I've come into this bug before. Yes, I even put a little to-do here. This only works if the document already exists. So there is no Calvin A. Allen document. I put a little note to myself. This won't work, right? So if I go to Twitch chat, Calvin A. Allen. Oh, there it is. So there is a document there. It created it, I assume. Let's try this again. Save. Did that actually create the document? So it did create the document. But it's just, it's not, interesting. So it created one a type profile. That's interesting that it created that. But it didn't actually create anything else. I'm really curious about that. How did it, which part of it actually, so is it just by going here? Type profile, that it just shows up, and these things are null, and fair info is null by default. Okay. Which is what, so shout message. I didn't actually put in a shout message. Let's see. Shout test. If I hit save there, shout message is null as well. Huh. That is really interesting. So I guess I could put in we could say, okay, if bucket, wait, is it bucket? Yeah, underscore bucket dot exists and request dot Twitch username. So if it doesn't, let's see, bang lurk. Hey, quality coder, what do you expect bang lurk to do? I'm curious because I'm collecting a list of like bot commands. Bang lurk is not one of them that I've implemented, but be curious to know what that means, or if it's just like you saying, "Hey, I'm here, but I'm lurking." And what would that actually have the bot do? Could you poll, see who's working? Let's see. On my bot, it just returns a thank you user for lurking. I appreciate it. Okay, sounds good to me. By the way, if you are lurking here, I'm going to make a little note, by the way. Don't forget to cash in your space bucks. We've got a raffle going on right now for some fantastic prizes. So maybe I should put a bot command about raffle as well to give more details about the current raffle. To provide more details about that, like what the prizes are and what that means. Yeah, usually you're going to earn the space bucks as you go along. It's like a Twitch, built into Twitch thing. And you can cash those in for various rewards. One of them is a entry into the raffle. So definitely, if you're interested, check that out. Okay, so if this one doesn't exist, just go ahead and insert the whole thing, right? There's no reason why not to. Quest.twitch username, and then, by the way, fellow live coder, found you on the live coder team page. Ah, cool. Yeah, I promote the live coder team page every stream. Quality coder, I don't know if I've ever seen yours on there yet. Because I'll usually try to raid someone at the end of every stream. Yeah, high five to a fellow team member. So why can't I just do this? Return default. So basically I'm saying if it doesn't exist, just go ahead and throw the whole thing in there. Don't even go through any of this stuff. Just throw the whole thing in there. So, but then I'm kind of wondering why don't I just do that with this? Why was I doing the subdocument stuff in the first place? You stream late at night, usually start around 9 p.m. CST. So CST, I don't know what time zone that is. Central Standard Time, US. Okay. I always get confused with the CDT and the CST, and then Europe has its own time zones, but you're in Central Time. Cool. At 9 p.m. Central Time. All right. That's 10 p.m. Eastern Time for me. If I'm on that late, I'm probably streaming some gaming or something like that. I'm not coding. So why in the world did I make this all subdocument in the first place? That's what I'm wondering. I don't understand why I can't just do this. Forget the insert, just say upsert. Why do I have all this? I don't know. Upsert async, by the way. Why did I go through all that trouble? I'm trying to remember. See, I probably should have made some notes here about why I used subdocument API. I think it's because I didn't want to actually add those fields if I don't want to give someone fanfare. But I don't really see the benefit of that right now. So let's just try this again. So here we are at Calvin, and we'll hit save, and oh, still didn't work. What? It saved it, but now it's not loading it back on the form. Oh gosh. Fanfare enabled. Oh wait, I think I understand why I did this now. Because this is flattened. That's what it is. It's flattened. So that's part of the reason. So this is basically invalid. We're going to delete that. Okay. Oh, gosh. Well, that makes it a little more annoying, doesn't it? But Twitcher profile is what I want to map to, right? Basically, I want to do some mapping here. New Twitcher profile. I should get back into streaming with the impending apocalypse. Oh. I don't know if I would call it an apocalypse. But I agree with the first part. You should get back into streaming. Okay, so fanfare info. You just something like this. We could say profile dot fanfare info equals new fanfare info. I wouldn't either. LOL. Okay, let's see. So I'm just going to start doing some mapping here. This is the kind of situation where AutoMapper might help if I was using it. Profile dot shout message equals request dot shout message. Profile dot fanfare dot message equals request dot fanfare message. It's not a true apocalypse until the zombies rise up. Oh boy. Okay, fanfare message, timeout. Timeout equals request dot fanfare timeout. Now this is nullable and that's nullable. Okay. Profile dot fanfare dot YouTube start time equals request dot fanfare YouTube start time. I made this flat on the right hand side because it works better with a form. Maybe it works better with a form on the MVC side. But I made it embedded in the actual object because it would just be a lot of fanfare this, fanfare this, fanfare this, which not a great way to model it, I guess. Doesn't really make a lot of difference right now. But fanfare.youtube end time equals request.fanfare YouTube end time. And code. Fanfare YouTube code request dot yep. So I think that's it. Oh, there might be has fanfare equals request dot fanfare enabled. Okay. All right. What does this return? Why is it unreachable? Oh, because I've got that return up there, which is indented for some reason. Okay. Try it again. Back to Calvin's. Save. What? Oh, I know what it is. I'm only sort of doing half the job here. Okay, not request, profile. Yeah, because I went through all that mapping and then ignored it. Well done me. Okay, try it again. Okay, back to the Calvin form, save. There we go, but fanfare is not enabled for some reason. Enabled equals null. Why is that? Why is the fanfare enabled? Fanfare enabled should be coming from that form. Profile editor. Fanfare enabled. Should be here. Let's watch it all the way through. Well, maybe I didn't check the box or something. Containers. I don't see containers. Profile Calvin Allen. Okay. Well, let me go back here. Just copy these over. Calvin checkbox. YouTube code 217. 220, 6,000. Preview works. Hit save. Okay, so let's see what happened here. Yeah, it says true. Fanfare enable equals true. Yep, okay. So then we'll go to the, what is this? The update profile handler. Okay. Oh, is it my... There is no fanfare enabled. Still, it should be mapping that. Oh, I don't know. Let's just see. Yeah. Has fanfare true. Okay. And then async and return, and then that should be in there. But okay. So let me think. Let me look at this. Calvin Allen. Has fanfare true, but this whatever this enabled, I don't know why that's in there, is false. So it looks like I've got two fields that aren't really matching up here. But I think I'm on the right track. So let me get rid of this stuff. Which one do I actually use? I guess that might be good to figure out. Fanfare. One of the handlers. Nope, that's not it. Let's see. User has arrived handler. Yeah, okay. User has arrived, get user profile. Okay, if profile.has fanfare, that's the one I check. So the actual yeah, it's enabled one. I don't know why that's even in there. Let me just oh, you know what? That enabled might be something else I was thinking of. It has a fanfare, but I've turned it off or something. So I don't know. Let's see. This is what is this mapping here? Yeah, okay. I don't know what the point of that is. It's just for testing. Okay, let's try it again. So just a reminder for those of you hanging out, if you're earning space bucks by hanging out in this channel, the little, look down below the chat, it's probably right over there-ish. There's a little space bucks button. You're going to earn some space bucks points. And as you earn those, you can enter into, if I can keep everything from crashing here, you can enter into a raffle for some prizes. I've got some cool prizes, a tech book, or some fun little nerdy toy things, like a retro game system or a board game, stuff like that. Oh, it's not... Okay, so that's gone away at least, but the has fanfare is not being populated. So, cash those space bucks in. There's other rewards down there, but I think the prizes one is probably the coolest one. Calvin has already entered a few times, so you probably want to get on this if you want one of those prizes. And tell your friends. Got some cool prizes in here. Okay, so what isn't mapping here? What is the problem? Profile.has fanfare. Okay, it's stored, but it's not coming back out. This get profile handler maybe is the issue. Get Twitcher profile. It should be populated into that. Has fanfare, because it is there. You can see has fanfare true. Says it's now out of stock. Out of stock? I It might be just for you, Calvin. Maybe you're limited. Let me double check here. Let's see. Let's see how we can switch to. Oh, here we go. And then I can go to manage rewards. Okay, and then I've got custom rewards. And what I've got is 5 per stream. I don't know if that's, well, it doesn't say. That might be total per stream, so I'm going to need to increase that. I'll just not limit it per stream. How's that? Okay. So yeah, I wouldn't mind limiting it per person, but I don't want to limit it. I don't want a hard ceiling on it, 5 per stream. So this is why I experiment. You're back in the game. Okay, so there we go. Thank you for that. Let me know about that, Calvin. Appreciate that. All right. So what's not making sense to me is you're getting the profile out here. Get profile handler, pulls it from the buckets, puts in a Twitcher profile. Twitcher profiler has this has fanfare, right? So that should map. Has fanfare should map to that. Okay. Calvin, say something for the rest of us. I'm still trying to earn enough for one. So how many quality coder? I'm just curious. How many space bucks do you have right now? 80. Okay. So by the way, I think if you're not already, I think you can earn some extra space bucks for a follow. Not saying you have to, but I think that'll give you some more space bucks. Might be worth a try. That's all I'm saying. I would appreciate if you tried it, just to see if it worked. By the way, if it actually did give you space bucks. Okay, so you can earn some by following a wink, wink. So maybe it's this mapping function that's not how I expected. Yeah, I was just in here. Thank you for the follow, quality coder, and I'll totally understand if you decide to unfollow afterwards. Okay, so I wanted to say fanfare enabled. Yep. Okay. Twitcher profile. You have 2,200. Well, that's because you've probably earned a ton all the time you've been here, Calvin. You've never even redeemed any of them. But hey, you never know, Calvin. You might want to save them for next week because it could be even better prizes next week. All right, so what is the problem here? This is a nullable issue. Let's do that. Okay, that's what I was doing down here anyway. Okay, so it seems like this mapping method is where I had my logic screwed up. Well, another case of the test pass, but the logic isn't right, so that happens. Tests aren't always going to catch everything. No, sir, not unfollowing. Well, I appreciate that, quality covert, but I also don't want you to think, I don't want you to feel obligated. I do appreciate you trying it out. But did that give you extra space bucks? What is the problem here? This keeps like hanging around. If it gave you extra space bucks, that'd be good to know for others. I could tell them, hey, TBD gamer. Speaking of someone with probably a lot of space bucks, TBD gamer, you probably have some as well. We've got I've got some prizes. Got this new reward down here. If you look at the over here, down right about there, probably. You can redeem your space bucks to get a raffle entry. Oh, there we go. It works now. Okay, beautiful. Which, by the way, Calvin, it should probably be. Oh, maybe not. Because I'm just. Never mind. I'm doing this locally. But let's try something here. I do so claim this raffle ticket. All right, you are in. You are in, TBD Gamer. All right. So, Calvin A. Allen, was it recently? What do they call that? I'm doing all right, TBD Gamer. How are you? Let's see. Yes, trying to redeem a raffle ticket. It's telling me experimenting with raffle prizes stream. Claim this reward and it'll be entered in raffle. Yeah, so there should be a button there to click. To click it, you might have to type some text in or something. Because it seems to work okay for TBD and Calvin. So I know Calvin's a subscriber, TBD Gamer is not. So I don't think it's a subscriber thing. Yeah, I think I required a message in there. Just because I wasn't sure how it would actually appear in the chat or not. So try entering a message and see what happens. Isolation hasn't gotten to me yet. Well, you know, I've been working from home, like I said at the beginning of the stream, working home for 10 years. And I was really concerned about isolation at the beginning. And so I kind of took some steps to deal with that. But unfortunately, one of those steps is going to user groups and going to conferences. And those things are not happening anymore. So there we go. All right. We got a... wait, who just redeemed that one? Oh, that was AJ. AJ 2017. Hey, AJ 2017, you're in the raffle now. Okay, we're doing great. This raffle's going well. Hopefully, I can do some sort of query on these entries to make it easier on myself. I'll have to go back and review the video. But okay, well, I wanted to test something, and what I wanted to do was I want to just. Is a handler. User has arrived. Handler. Okay. User has arrived recently. Arrived recently. That's what it is. ICANN has ticket. Oh, you got two of them. Look at you. Okay. So Calvin has arrived at 10:19. I'm going to delete this. Calvin, I want you to say something in chat. Three entries. My gosh. Like what, bro? Yep, so there we go. So Fanfare's working fine. Just got to put this into production so I can actually edit them and get them working. So we're all set. Another ticket. This is working okay so far. I like it. Everybody's getting some prizes. Or going to get some prizes. Let me just... So now that I've fixed this bug... Yeah, I wouldn't want to be left out, TBD Gamer. Now that I've fixed this bug, let's go back and review these prizes here real quick. Which I'm going to add this as a bot feature if this catches on. Here's the prizes that I've decided to give out next week to pick from the raffle. And it seems like we've got enough people entered that this will be fun. So you're going to get one of the following. It's going to be your choice, whoever wins. A Manning book of your choice. So you don't have to pick mine. Mine's 8 years old at this point. You can pick an newer one. Totally fine. A handheld retro game console. These are some prizes I've given out at some conferences recently. A handheld retro game console. Comes with like 500 NES games. It's really cool. A little quadcopter, a mini one. You can go fly around your backyard to help beat the isolation, TBD Gamer. A Raspberry Pi kit. If you want to experiment with Raspberry Pi, you got a little extra time in your hands now. Or a Decrypto board game. If you've got, like me, a family of 4 at home, looking for a new board game to try out. This one involves encryption, decryption, code breaking, stuff like that. So these are the prizes that I will be giving out. So get entered to win. All right, so what's the next thing? On to the next thing. We're going on to Micronetes. It's about 50 minutes in. So we're going to check out Micronetes. This is something I learned about yesterday during an event, which I won't name, but I think it's okay to talk about this because this is a public GitHub project. It's Micronetes. This is somewhat experimental, I believe. It's not exactly, I don't know if it's going to have all the features that you necessarily want. But it's a local orchestrator is the idea here. So it's like Kubernetes, but it's not made necessarily for production. All right, this is sort of just for development purposes. And it's written in C#, it's written in .NET. So this is kind of like Minikube, kind of, but it's a little bit, it's more designed for developers. Wow, really, really going crazy on those tickets. I love it. I love it. Okay. Maybe I need to up the price, though, on these tickets. But I don't think so, because a quality coder had to follow to actually get enough points. So, I want to make this friendly to newcomers as well as old timers like Calvin and TBD, and even AJ 2017 for that matter. But anyway, I wanted to check this out because it's kind of like a mini local developer Kubernetes. Get off my lawn, Sonny. I'm an old timer. And it has this cool little dashboard and all this kind of stuff. So I wanted to check this out. I wanted to try it. And of course, the sample, one of the sample projects was Redis. So we're going to try it with Couchbase instead of Redis. But I just want to see if I can get it to work. So let's try to follow this getting started guide. I've never installed it. I haven't done anything with it until today. You're witnessing me checking it out for the first time. It works with non.NET Core projects too. So obviously it's geared towards the .NET developer, but the broader sense of developer in general can use them. Okay, prerequisites. Install .NET Core from .NET version 3.1. I think I've done that. What do how do I get versions of .NET? Yeah, 3.1. There we go. Let's try that up at the top of the screen here. 3.1. So there we go. I've got that installed. Install the M8S command, Micronetes. Micro80s? I don't know. M80s? Command line using the following command. .NET tool install M80s -- version. You can see it's in pretty serious alpha territory here, 0.1. The list of versions can be found here. Oh, here we go. That's cool. All right, so let's try this. Which version do I want? Let's see, we've got this. Whoa, I want this over here. We've got GAC, EAC. Seems like kind of an older version. I want to install a newer one. And why not? Oh, version. Okay, I don't need the quote there. Let's try that. Okay, I guess it's installed. You can invoke the tool using the following command, M8S. Well, that was easy. So let's just see, .NET tool install. So what is .NET tool? So you can run, restore. Okay, so what kind of .NET tools do I have? .NET tool list. None, I guess. I thought I just installed one, but it's not listing it. Okay. .NET tool list help. Okay, there we go. So I did -G. So I've got two. I've got M8S and I've got MLNet. I've installed MLNet before, maybe even on the stream. Okay, so what's the next step? All right, verify the installation was complete by running M8S -- help. I can do that. M8S -- help. There we go. Process manager and orchestrator for microservices. I don't know if the intention is ever to make this like something you actually deploy into production with. I don't know what their plans are. I know right now you shouldn't do that. But what you could do, and I think what they're recommending, I don't know if it's stated explicitly here, but is you use this to develop your microservice locally. Because you're not going to be using a full like infrastructure locally, right? So just as an example, locally I might have ASP.NET Core connecting to Couchbase, like I do for the chatbot. Locally, if I'm just a coder, I'm just a developer, I can get by with just one ASP.NET server and one Couchbase server. In production, I might want to have, 3 ASP.NET servers behind a load balancer, plus a cluster of like 5 Couchbase server nodes. So, but that's production. That would be Kubernetes handling that. In development, I don't necessarily need that if I'm just coding features day to day. Right now, if it's like some sort of QA environment or a staging environment, different story. But if we're talking my local desktop developer environment, I don't need the full cluster of all the different nodes out there. I think that's what's going on here. Okay, so let's make a new application. Okay, so we'll go to my new applications folder, which I call zproj, and we'll make a directory called a microservice. Sure, why not? Microservice. This is PowerShell, by the way. I'm using it inside a Windows terminal. All right, and create a front-end project. .NET New Razor. Well, okay. Not really my deal, but let's do it. Okay. Run it with the M8S command line. So M8S run front end port 8001. Error, failed to launch process. What is the problem here? That's not what it should have done. Well, there's something here. It's running. It's just I'm getting some errors from the front end. I wonder what that is. So there it is. You can see it's running. Dashboard to the front end. Okay. Create a back end. So, okay. We'll stop this. And who knows what's actually in there. I don't know what kind of template that made or used. Microservices. So there's the front end project. I mean, I could open it here with Visual Studio Code. Just real quick, see what's in there. Oh, close that. That's just an old blog post. All right, open folder. Zproj. Microservice. There we go. Maybe this is trying to do something, connect to something that it shouldn't be. I don't know. Doesn't look like it. Some sort of logger not working. I don't know. Anywho, it's kind of working. All right. Next step. Create backend that the API, that the front end will call. Okay. All right, so now we got a back end and a front end. You can see here. Fine. Where were we? All right. Change the ports to 5002 and 5003 in the back end project in Properties Launch Settings. Why do I have to do that? Properties Launch Settings. Change it to 5002. Probably because the other one's using 5001. Where did it go? Launch settings, 5002, 5000. Wait, what? Okay, well, whatever. 5002, 5003. This avoids the port conflict between the front end and the back end. Yep. This will be resolved automatically in the future. Wow. How's that going to work? Detect port conflicts. Okay. It just picks random ports and logs a warning. I don't know if I like that. But, okay, interesting. Create a new solution file and add both projects. Helpful if I had this sort of on part of the screen. Or if it was transparent. Can I make this transparent, Calvin? It'd be cool if there's like a transparent setting. Anywho, .NET new solution. Yeah, you can. Add front end. Solution add back end. Kind of extra manual steps if you're using the command line, obviously. You should have a solution called microservice.sln that references the front end and back end projects. Do I have such a thing? It looks like I do. Front-end and back-end projects. Solution support in Visual Studio Code isn't great for some reason right now. I'm not sure why, but just the way it is, I guess. Okay. Stop the existing. Yeah, I already did that. Okay. Run the M8S command in the folder with the solution. Run port 8001. The dashboard should show both the front end and back end services. What dashboard? Oh, is this... Wait, what? Is this the dashboard? I'm wondering if I'm the only one in existence that hasn't jumped on the VS Code train. Quality Coder, you might be. It's not just Microsoft developers. I mean, people are using VS Code everywhere for everything, even Java, JavaScript certainly, and Node. But yeah, and then there's a plugin for just about everything. So I don't use it for .NET and C# development usually. I'll stick to regular Visual Studio for that. So that's the only thing I don't use Visual Studio Code for. I mainly use JetBrains stuff with Sublime as a backup. JetBrains has some good stuff too. I keep calling it Project Writer. Rider, very cool. JetBrains makes awesome stuff. I use, with Visual Studio, I mainly use ReSharper. I don't use a lot of Rider, but I use ReSharper. JetBrains also has, I used this back in the day, PHP Storm. I used that to do my PHP coding, which was so much better than just about any other PHP experience. Because I had tried probably 5 or 6 different PHP editing tools, and I always came back to like Notepad++ because they were just terrible. But PHP Storm was actually the first one I found that was really good for PHP coding. But yeah, it's all like IntelliJ platform type stuff that they're building on, of course. So IntelliJ is a big deal. Hey, Purple Primate, thanks for stopping in. Great to see you. Here's a question. .NET noob here, so please forgive my ignorance. You will never have to ask for forgiveness in this channel for questions. VS Code is different than what you called regular Visual Studio. Yes, VS Code and Visual Studio are two different things. So this is Visual Studio here on the right. Let me just show you here. And this is Visual Studio Code on the left. Now the difference is Visual Studio that I use is pretty much a Windows-only piece of software. Now, before Calvin jumps in, there's also a Visual Studio for Mac that is not really the same thing. It's just kind of the same thing in name. Narendev with the hi. And then VS Code is kind of more of a lightweight tool. VS Code is mainly for web cloud dev, so I wouldn't say that. You could use it for any type of code, really. But certainly a lot of people are using it for JavaScript, which certainly goes towards the web. But the other thing with VS Code is that it is a true cross-platform piece of software. So you can run the same VS Code version on Windows or on Mac or on most Linux distros, I assume. And it is built on a platform called Electron. So Visual Studio is built on, on .NET these days, right? And it's built on WPF, I think. But the Visual Studio Code is built on Electron, which is cross-platform JavaScript desktop UI. Quality Coder says Linux main here. Linux main. So you're mainly using Linux? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, so VS Code would be a good choice for you on Linux. So you can ultimately write in either VS or VS Code. This is true. Yes, you can write in either one. You can use the same project on both pieces of software. Personally, for .NET and C# coding, I prefer regular old Visual Studio. Just because I've been using for all these years, and it has ReSharper, and it's a lot heavier tool. And there is a free version of it, but I use the Visual Studio Enterprise version, which is like the full-featured, full-blown thing. Let's see. I'm using VS Code for web, Flutter app mobile, and Go development. So there you go. All kinds of stuff. Sorry for the double message. I've got two Twitch bots running right now. Let me go ahead and close the one. Sorry about that. That is actually not the project I'm working on right now. I should update that, I guess, right? So we're on Micronetes. So we're checking out right now. Set current project. Give you a link to Micronetes. See, we just got ReSharper taken away from us at work. Oh, no. That's a real bummer. Like, they just forbid it, or they just wouldn't pay for it. That's a real bummer. Apparently some team says, we don't need it. VS 2019 has all you need. Okay, so, one, Visual Studio, yes, they ever since ReSharper came out, they've been trying to play catch-up and adding some of those features that ReSharper adds. And they won't give us Visual Studio 2019. Well, it sounds like a catch-22 right there. But I will say, ReSharper still has tons and tons of great stuff built in that the Visual Studio doesn't have yet and probably won't have. One of my favorite things about ReSharper is the built-in test runner, unit test runner. It is just amazing, terrific test runner. Love it, used it for ages. Visual Studio has this cool thing called live unit testing, which is great, also great. And you can use both of them together for a really great testing experience. Anyway, yes, ReSharper has good stuff. Quality Coder says if you can't use Notepad to code CS, you're not a real CS developer. Yeah, and honestly, Purple Primate, if you just want to use a Notepad these days with .NET Core, you totally can. or yeah, Vim, sure, or Nano for that matter. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I actually did some of that on the stream here. I used Nano to make changes to a C# project when I was experimenting with SpinUp. Roy Kazak, good day to you, sir. So we got a lot of people coming in the channel just now. I do want to just mention, if you haven't followed me yet, I recommend following me, because if you look at the bottom of your screen over here, underneath the chat box,
Bing, bada, boom.
oh, thank you for the follow, Roy Kazak. You'll see that you can redeem some space bucks, what I'm calling space bucks. It's just the sort of the fake currency for this Twitch channel. But one of the options you can redeem with your space bucks is entry into a raffle prize. And so if you enter into the raffle prize, you're going to get a virtual raffle ticket. And I'm going to give away prizes next week. Thank you for the follow, Purple Primate, as well. And so redeem those points, get those raffle tickets in, and the winner will get one of these 5 prizes. So we've got a Manning book that you want, or one of these other cool little gadgety game type things. But get those raffle entries in. And right now, Calvin Allen's got a big fistful of tickets in already, because he's been a regular here for a long time. But if you hang around here, you follow me, you can get those points in, redeem those space bucks. Just a reminder, if you've not done this before, this is a relatively new Twitch feature, by the way. Ooh, down here. This little button underneath the chat. In my channel, it's called Space Bucks. In other channels, it's called something different, right? I think the Michael Jolly calls it stubble or something like that. So check it out. Rigged. It's rigged to favor people who hang out here longer. Yeah. If you call that rigged. Mine are called PowerPoints. Yeah. So someone said you can't run Vim on Windows. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it is. I never actually tried. I'm not really a Vim or Sublime guy. What about Linux subsystem on Windows 10? Certainly you could run Vim in WSL. I don't see why not. You're getting in it now? Getting it in now when Calvin Allen wins. Oh, I see. I see. Well, on the stream, I'm maybe going to try to. Mine are called channel points because I lack imagination. I think that's the default name, right? Channel points. Yeah. Anywho, yeah, I'm going to try to write a query to randomize this to get the winner. So we'll see how these entries actually show up in the logs I'm saving. I forgot about the new WSL. I'm not a Windows fanboy. I run Linux. LOL. Oh boy, don't be starting the Windows Linux stuff, because Linux ships with Windows now. Okay. Okay, so I was trying to finish this. Let's see. I claim this ticket in the name of me. Not sure why you'd want this, but here's how to install Vim on Windows. Why you'd want this? Oh, what was this? Ad-free stuff. Oh boy, one of these deals. Anyway, people like the Vim. I don't know. I think sometimes some computer science programs teach it. Like when I went to college for computer science, they taught us, I quickly forgot it, but they taught us Emacs. And it was like Emacs across the board for all the C++ courses and things. So it's Emacs. So maybe some schools teach Vim these days. I don't know. Roy Kazak says, yeah. Okay. Now, where was I on this guide? So we've got this. It's not really a dashboard. Front end and back end services. I'm not seeing both front end and back end services here either. I'm really confused about this. So it failed to launch process for the backend service. It can't find the file specified. So something's going on here. And this could be because I'm on, I sort of ignored this directive and I used a later version, so who knows. So Linux is obviously Linux. Mac is on BSD, which is essentially Linux. Not the same, I know, but close enough. And Windows ships with Linux. Which OS is number one? Ha. Well, and let me tell you another little bit of trivia here, Quality Coder. Have you heard of Microsoft Azure before? Microsoft's, since you're not a fanboy, I assume you've probably heard of Azure. I think maybe a year ago, they passed the majority mark that most VMs running in Azure are running Linux. And let's also remember that Microsoft has contributed piles and piles of code to the Linux kernel as well. So it's a new world. It's a new world out there for Microsoft. And Microsoft also purchased GitHub, and they just recently, GitHub just purchased NPM. So it's a whole new world. Your company is a Microsoft shop, but you run Linux. You run Linux at your work, or just you run it at home? Okay, so this tutorial is kind of breaking down for me. It's not quite sure what those error messages are from. I run Linux at home. They won't let me run Linux at work. Yeah, I'm getting these error messages here. I don't know what is causing these. I've done literally nothing. I've written no code myself. MS owns GitHub, which is why I use Bitbucket. LOL. You're not just a Linux fanboy. You're an anti-Microsoft fanboy. What it sounds like. Bitbucket Atlassian trash. All right. Settle down now. Settle down. Let's not get into some flame wars now. All right. As long as no one's using SourceForge, I think we can all agree that we're all in the same boat. So I don't know. So this kind of broke down. It's trying to get us into creating a weather client, like a fake weather client. That's always the go-to sample these days. But I can't even get that far. I'm not sure if I've done something wrong here. Nothing wrong with Atlassian. Jira is awesome. Bitbucket is great. Trello is legit. All right. So if you like Linux, you like Atlassian, Quality Coder is the guy you should be following. Let me give a shout out to Quality Coder because I know you're also a teammate with the stream. So there you go. You get a little shout out. That part of the bot's working. Okay, so Micronetes, I'm going to have to go back and figure out what's going on here. This is definitely some alpha level software. It's definitely experimental. So you can see we're in 0.1 1 alpha territory. So yeah, there's some rough edges there, but I think the idea here is pretty cool. I want to explore this some more. I want to get into this dashboard thing here too, because that's a pretty cool. I really like UIs and stuff like that. So if I could visualize my cluster, it's pretty cool. Okay, so let's go on to the last thing I wanted to talk about, which is, since we got a pretty good group of people here right now chatting, I wanted to, and you can't really see, so it shows it's 6, but I felt like we had more than that. I asked this question on Twitter, and what I said was, can anyone sum up what cloud native means in one sentence? And so I wanted to get some opinions on this. What is cloud native? And I got some replies. Some of them were sarcastic, and some of them were angry, and some of them were trying to actually answer the question. Quality Coder says it means it runs natively on someone else's server. Yeah, so you're going with the very bare definition of what cloud means there. So I wanted to go through some of these answers on Twitter and sort of see if we can suss this out. So sounds like a kludge of buzzwords to me. Yeah, exactly, Purple Primate. So buzzwords are kind of a blight on the world, I guess, but especially on the development world, because people love to attach themselves to buzzwords and write blog posts and become consultants and begin startups and marketing materials, all based around buzzwords, to just try to get some more attention and ride that wave of attention and funding and whatever. So, but there's a whole cloud native foundation and things like this. So I'm like, what does that mean? Roy Kazak says that's a remote data center. Yeah, so there's a link to CNCF. What is cloud native? I've been to this page before, and I'm still not really sure what it means. So this is, what is a cloud native? What is cloud native definition? And here it is. So definition, all the different languages. But it's just kind of like, again, it's buzzword soup. Cloud native technologies empower organizations to build and run scalable applications in modern dynamic environments, such as public, private, and hybrid clouds. Okay, what does that mean? Containers, service meshes, microservices, immutable infrastructure, and declarative APIs exemplify this approach. So enable loosely coupled systems that are resilient, manageable, and observable. Combined with robust automation, engineers, okay. Minimum toil. Yeah, people use toil a lot. Okay, so these things are all fine, but if you go talk to any sort of IT group, they're going to say, yeah, we're modern, sure. We're dynamic, yeah. We have our own public cloud or private cloud, or we use hybrid cloud. Sure, yeah. And these are examples of this approach, but you could say, I don't use containers, but I'm cloud native. I don't use service meshes, but yeah, I'm cloud native. It seems pretty broad. Quality Coder, I would expect that cloud native means it uses environment-based configs, not file-based, and overall just containers and load balancing. Okay, maybe, but environment-based configs, that's kind of a really specific thing to say, the Cloud Native Foundation, we're all about environment-based configs. That's not really something for an organization. Loosely coupled systems that are resilient, manageable, and observable. So who defines what loosely coupled systems are? Like, there's no cloud native certification process or anything like that. So it seems like almost anyone could claim to be cloud native. Any piece of software could claim this. This definition doesn't really say what do we consider not to be cloud native. Like, what are the specific criteria for a piece of software or a enterprise or whatever. And that's another part of it. What is cloud? Is it a piece of software? So is ASP.NET cloud native? Or is it more appropriate to say, is Microsoft cloud native? Or can we say our accounting application, is cloud native, or is it more appropriate to say the Acme widget company is cloud native, or all of the above? So here's some of the answers I got on Twitter. I want to show these to you here. I got a pretty good variety of answers. So Chase Oakwine, he says cloud native. It's got what business crave, which is an Idiocracy reference, which is him basically saying that, yeah, cloud native is just a buzzword, just to try to attach to something to get more attention, to just try to say, oh, yeah, it's cloud native, so it must be better. So if you're not cloud native, you need to buy our consulting services. And then here's Danielko, just tagging on that. Adam Wright. Okay, so this is a more of a earnest answer. Writing apps that are meant to run in the cloud, probably utilizing cloud services like storage, messaging, functions, easier scalability. Okay, those are all good things. I think people couldn't argue those are not good things, but we got this probably in here. And what are cloud services? Does that mean the services that Amazon specifically offers? Or does it mean anything that I can run in Amazon, like on a VM, for instance? Or does it mean both? So if I am locked into Amazon and I'm only using Amazon specific services, does that make me cloud native? Or if I'm doing like a lift and shift sort of thing, does that, and whatever changes are involved there, do I now become a cloud native? Jim Borden, this is a coworker of mine. A cloud native is the politically correct term for an angel. Another sarcastic answer. Thank you for that, Jim. I think that's funny. Keith, I don't know who Keith is, but he said birds. Cloud natives are birds. That's where the birds live. They live in the clouds. All right, Christopher Benage. It's designed to utilize the features of a cloud, i.e. PaaS services, platform as a service, services, as opposed to being a port of an on-premises design. So Christopher is saying it's not a lift and shift. Thank you for the follow, Kicks. How are you? So it's not a lift and shift. So it's the next stage after lift and shift, maybe? And so what does that mean, next stage after lift and shift? Okay. Yeah, so he's kind of giving me a little negative definition, designed to use features of a cloud, like platform as a services. Do I use Python? I don't use Python. I've said this in the past. I respect Python developers, and it's a totally fine language. I have, nothing against people who use Python, but the significant white space, I just can't do it. My brain is not built for that. Okay, so Inglorious KTB, this is Keith, I think. He says it's made to be distributed, accessible, scalable, out of the box. Okay. What do you mean by scalable, I guess? Well, so distributed, yes, that's tough to do without specific designs, specific architectures to make something distributed. Scalable, though, like on Azure, I could just crank up vertical scaling all the way to use 300 cores or whatever their maximum is right now. Does that make it cloud native? I can just take my big ball of mud, throw it on there, and scale it up to the roof, and we're scalable. Really, why do you think like that? Is it complicated? I mean, I don't know. It's complicated for me. It's hard for me. We're talking about Python again now. It's hard for me to sort of deal with that. And it's not just about Python specifically. It's about any significant white space language, like YAML, for instance. Can't stand it. Because, if it's just not the way I think, right? I think white space is there for making it easier to read, but when it's actually affecting the execution of the program, I never, if I'd started my first language at Python, maybe I'd think differently. But my first languages were BASIC and C++, and things where white space didn't really matter at all. So that's just the way I work. But lots of smart people are building great stuff with Python, so I don't want to tell you not to use it. It's not my thing. Here's one, Calvin A. Allen. Building cloud apps, but natively. Thank you very much, Calvin, for the very thoughtful and useful answer. James Hickey, of course, getting right to the point here, vendor lock-in. So I guess his point of view is, well, you got to be using, if you're on a cloud vendor, you got to be using Amazon services. So you're locked into Amazon. Other people might say, well, there's lots of software out there that can work multi-cloud. And some people say multi-cloud is silly to do that. So a vendor lock-in. I mean, I don't think that's what the Cloud Native Foundation is talking about. That's not what they want, but that's James Hickey seems to think it is. Michael Jolly, of course, here on, he's one of my team members, so I'll shout him out. Bald, bearded, builder. Shout out Michael Jolly. He says VB script is cloud native. Nope. But you could hypothetically again run VB script and ASP.NET Classic app, run that on one of the clouds. Who's to say it's not cloud native? Ben Lackey, this is a former coworker of mine, doesn't really follow the rules here. He uses more than one sentence, but he says multi-tenant SaaS that scales automagically doesn't expose the end user to IaaS, Cores RAM Network Disk. So that's two sentences. We're up to three. Examples include BigQuery, Lambda, Twilio, and Salesforce. Okay, so here's the thing. I know Ben personally, and I know that he knows cloud tech really well. He is super sharp about this stuff. But this definition, I'm not sure that a lot of people are on the same page as him. He's saying multi-tenant SaaS that scales automagically doesn't expose user to infrastructure as a service. So I don't have to worry about my cores and RAM, stuff like that. But just up here, we've got Christopher Bennett saying utilizing PaaS services. So we've got, is it SaaS? Is it PaaS? What is it? Oh, CBD Gamer giving us another opinion. Cloud native systems are designed to embrace rapid change, large scale, and resilience. That's such a vague definition, though. I mean, that's almost like a mission statement. It's not it's not defining something. It says we want our software to embrace rapid change. Sure, who doesn't? We want it to be large scale. Sure, who doesn't? And we want it to be resilient. Yeah, sure, who doesn't? But the cloud doesn't, by default, guarantee resilience. It still takes the developers and DevOps team to make resilient scaling. Yeah, exactly. This is kind of what I'm getting at, TBD Gamer. This is a really good way of expressing it. That it's not something you can just, oh, well, we're cloud native now, so everything works and can scale, and it's perfect, and it's great. No, not at all. You still need to make it work. Here's an answer from Nathan Smith, a former coworker of mine, says, not sure on that one. I think this is probably the most accurate answer of them all. Okay, then we get down here to Upside Down Bill Landers, who says, glorified shell scripts in languages nobody will remember in 36 months that only work on one brand of hosts and fail often, but theoretically could scale to infinity if you had enough money to buy twice as many computers as it would take to do an on-prem but low upfront cost. Sounds like Bill. Yes, exactly. Bill has been hurt. I think he's referring to Kubernetes, maybe? Or maybe like some Terraform sort of thing. Languages nobody will remember in 36 months. Maybe he's referring to YAML there. I don't know. But yes, Bill definitely has been hurt. So, yeah, I don't know. But there definitely is, again, this is kind of I think people are adverse to buzzwords. All right, Dave Starling. This is not a coworker of mine, but I've worked with him in the past. His company has done some really cool stuff with Couchbase. Well, his former company anyway. I think he moved on to something else. But he says, assume everything will die, which is a pretty maudlin point of view. And then this is another former coworker of mine saying, yes, be failure ready. So I like this. I don't know if it really speaks to the whole cloud native buzzword thing, but I like this, in that this is a good attitude to have when building stuff for the cloud. is just like a microservices approach, because you have like dozens of services, let's say, and they're communicating to each other over the network, probably HTTP or something like that. What happens if one of those services dies? Well, if we've built our system in such a way that it's sort of tightly coupled to it, well, then our whole system dies. And that's not what we want. We want to have an architecture that's going to be able to withstand some part of it going down for whether it's a few seconds or a few hours or a few days, enough time for us to get it back up and running, whether that's automated or manually. So yeah, this is sort of the chaos monkey approach that Netflix would take, is that, well, let's just poke holes in our system and see what breaks. And then figure out, well, how do we rebuild this or architect it so that if this happens again, that our system will still be as resilient as possible. And there's actually a presentation I give about this called, I'll bring it up here. And this is, when I say I give it the presentation. I am absolutely not the one who did a lot of the work on this, but it's a session called Autonomous Microservices. And it's about building microservices in a way that they can withstand this kind of damage. So cloud native is a goal. I think that makes sense to me. It is a goal, yes, but I think that's the way we should think of it, as a goal, which is the way things Dave and Laurent are saying, and others I think have said something similarly, like this is out of the box, right? Utilizing features of the cloud, things like that. But I think the danger here is when you have vendors or open source projects or whoever saying, if you use this software, that makes you cloud native, or our software is cloud native. I think those statements don't really have a lot of meaning to them. And I think TBD Gamer is right. I think Dave Starling and Laurent are on the right track here. It is a goal. It is something we want to be able to make our software architecture run in the cloud and be able to withstand anything that goes wrong in the various systems. But I mean, I guess my only concern there is we're talking cloud specifically. And I could design these systems to assume they would all die and do that in a local data center. So what's the cloud part there? All right. We could assume my local data center will die. Maybe I have a second data center. I have multi data centers. Or maybe the cloud platform goes down. It's happened in the past. Azure data centers go down. Amazon data centers go down. These things could happen as well. So what's my backup plan for that? So I'm still not sure we've got 100% nailed down definition, but I think it's important to have this conversation, to get it out there, because it's a term I keep seeing pop up, and it's starting to get into that portion of the hype cycle where it's just getting mashed up into a meaningless buzzword that everyone will throw up on their website or throw up on their advertising, their signage, and it's just, okay, what are we even talking about anymore? And this is what happens to all buzzwords, I think, in the tech world. We've talked NoSQL, serverless, whatever else, digital transformation, data lake, all these sorts of words. They have such a broad meaning that they become meaningless. So I think it's important to have this discussion, and to have this discussion about buzzwords in the future as well. So whenever you see a new buzzword come down, let's just stop and think for a second. What does this actually mean? What are we trying to communicate here? Why are we using this word in the first place? And let's drill down and get the deeper meaning behind the term, so that we can get on the same page and not just throw buzzwords at each other. All right. Well, I think I want to end on that note there. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Make sure to cash in your Spacebooks down here at the bottom of the screen. If you've been hanging out listening to me blather about Cloud Native for a while, you deserve to be rewarded for that. So get in on that Spacebooks voting, or sorry, not voting, but raffle tickets. And where are the prizes here? More tickets for Quality Coder. these are the prizes. One of the prizes I plan to give away. Whoever wins will win their choice of one of these 5 fantastic prizes. I will be streaming again on Thursday, 1:30 p.m. That's Eastern U.S. time. So you can join me there. Yes, lowering Calvin's chances. And I'll also be streaming. This will be a special one. I will be streaming on this Saturday, 9:45 a.m. Maybe a little earlier than that, for this special Cincy Pass sequel Saturday special stream. This will be less of an interactive session. It'll be more of a formal presentation because I was going to give this at a conference. So I'm going to give it online here on the Twitch stream instead. And the Cincy Pass and Sequel Saturday have been promoting this as kind of a little bit of an alternative, a way for you to go to a conference without actually having to go to a conference. So I hope all of you show up for that and ask a bunch of questions. It's going to be very different than my normal type of stream, but it will still be very interactive, highly interactive. So I encourage you to check that out. Saturday, 9:45. I know you probably don't have sports programs to take the kids to and stuff like that. And there's no movies or anything like that. So check it out. I sent it to a coworker. He does not like NoSQL. I would love it if he came to this session. And there'll be a video of it available afterwards, so you can also send him the video. Yes, Saturdays do have mornings. I chose this time because that's when I was scheduled to originally present this at the SQL Saturday conference. So I figured I'd stick with the same time, and we'll just go from there. But yeah, there'll be a video available. But it's going to be a very highly interactive, choose-your-own-adventure style of presentation that you've probably not seen something like this before. So it'll be fun. I promise you, 9:45 a.m., it's not too early in the morning. Get yourself a nice, strong cup of coffee and check it out. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me and following today. 666, Purple Primate, Roy Kazak, Quality Coder. Thank you all for hanging out. What I want to do next is we're going to raid somebody. We're going to raid a team member. Who should we raid? We've got Pixelogic Dev, building mobile apps, JMS, Werner. We've got BeginBot. Not many choices here. Anybody have a preference of who we should raid? Let me get the raid script here in the channel. So if you're a subscriber, you can copy and paste that while we raid. I think I'm going to go with. Looks like he's doing some I don't know, Counter-Strike or something. I want to go over to some coding. So let's go over to BeginBot. It looks like BeginBot. I may have raided BeginBot recently, but that's fine. It looks like it's doing some cool stuff with Unix domain sockets. So we're going to join. Oh, not join. We're going to raid BeginBot again. So if you're a subscriber, copy and paste that. If you're not a subscriber, just use the emoji of your choice, and we're going to raid BeginBot. Be nice. I'll see you over there. Everybody have a good day. See you on Thursday. Bye now.
You know, Kubernetes is good for many, many things. You need a virtual box or VMware for bacon, which also needs Hyper-V. Gotcha. Matthew G. Groves got another raid on top of another raid. Does anyone who only writes Hello World in Python have the authority to call himself a software developer? Listen to me.